Resource management has always been a huge priority in these hero collector games, and Marvel Strike Force is no exception. And in this video, we're making it easy for you with our countdown of the top 10 free-to-play, aka the top 10 farmable characters in Marvel Strike Force. So if you're ready to see who are these best characters that you should be farming, we got some ISO 8 and T4 recommendations as well for every single character, and we got some honorable mentions as well. If you're ready for all of that, guys, we got a lot to cover in this video, then you know what to do. Find that like button and let's go smash it!
ValleyFlyin.
Hello, Valley Maniacs. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I'm ValleyFlyin. I hope you're having a great day. And in this video, we are counting down the top 10 free-to-play, aka farmable characters for the month of January 2023. We do this every single month, and if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button so you get all these lists like this, gameplay, all the best Marvel Strike Force content to help your experience, and let me know down below what kind of content you want to see on this channel. But like I said, we do this list every month, and if you're a newer player, this list still has some value for you. It's kind of a glimpse of what you can expect as you approach the end game. If you're a mid-game player, sort of in that middle phase, these are some characters that you could start to build up that may give you some value right now. And if you're an end-game player, well, these are the characters that you're going to need to build for big things like Apocalypse. Now, we want some versatility in multiple game modes, but I'm going to get a lot of weight to these Horseman teams and these Scourge teams. So if you're not really building towards Apocalypse, then these characters may not be as valuable to you. And the way that I rate these game modes, I rate Arena the #1 game mode because that's where you get your power cores that you could use in all areas of the game. The Doom raid followed by the Greek raids is next because those are things that you're doing every single day. I think one of the more important game modes is Cosmic Crucible, but that gets weighted down a little bit for our list because that's something that you're doing 3 times a day or 3 times a week instead of 7 times a week like you are with the Arena and the raids. And then we also have the war mode. So those are how I have these modes rated. If you have some things rated differently, then your list may look a little different. But let's go into Photoshop and see who's not eligible for this list now. So if they're available in a store or node or are a permanent legendary or an achievement or login character like Hulk, Taskmaster, or Wolverine, they are eligible for this list. Everyone else is not. So we got some of the best characters in the game. We got the Horsemen, which technically are free to play. You could get them very, not spending any money, but for the purpose of the list, they're not included on this list. We got some of the best characters in the game. We got our Dark Dimension characters. We got some other characters that are not farmable yet, some of the newer, more meta characters. So let's clear this off. These are not going to be on this list. So if you're wondering where some of these best characters are, well, they're not eligible. All right, let's clear this list off and talk about the characters that are eligible for the month of January 2023. We got 2 farmable characters since the last time we did the list. We have Phantom X available with a hard Villains Chapter 3.3 and Jane Foster, who is available with a hard Villains Chapter 4.9. So you can get both of these characters. One of them is a Horseman. Is he good enough to make this list? Well, let's clear this off and let's start this list off. January 2023. And coming into number 10 spot this month, dropping 1 spot from last month, is Iron Man. And Iron Man is a very great character. He is a permanent legend character that you can unlock with shield characters. And is an important part of that Bionic Avengers tech raid team and as a team that you're going to use every single day. Now, he gets a little bit of bump above some of the other Bionic Avengers because he is a War Scourge unlock, unlike the others, because he's a Wave 1 Avengers. He's a Death Scourge unlock, being part of that Bionic Avengers team. And the Bionic Avengers are great in war. They're great in crossing Crucible. Let's go take a look at Iron Man and see why he is so good. And if we take a look at his kit, let's take a look at his T4s here. This special is a great one here. What it's going to do, more damage to all enemies in an AoE attack that's unavoidable. So if you're countering like a Spider Weaver or Web Warriors, this does very well. The big thing here is prolonged duration of negative effects by +1 on each target. So that is going to be very, very good. All right, next we also have his passive right here, and what that does, that gives him more crit chance, more crit damage, but in the raids it's going to give that to your entire team. Additional 10% damage with this T4, and they're also getting an extra percent crit chance with that as well, with a T4 as well. So those are the 2 best T4s, and as far as ISO 8s, The most popular ISO 8 class for Iron Man is that Raider class. 72% of users have that ISO 8 class on Iron Man. Let's move back to the list and continue with this countdown. Coming in at number 9 this month is our boy Sean, dropping 2 spots from last month. Very easy to character to farm because he's available in the Blitz store, and he is part of that skill raid team right now. We don't have full team. We have Secret Avengers and some other characters like Shang-Chi and Kestrel, but he's an important part of that team, which makes him go on that team, the Heroes for Hire and War Defense, but he's also on that team. And he's on that team for Cosmic Crucible. At least I use him in Cosmic Crucible for that team. He's going to be on the Heroes for Hire for War Defense. And because he's a city hero, you can use him in the Dark Dimension city sections if you're not through with that yet. Also, you can use him in the block party for some ability materials every single month. Let's go take a look at his kit and see why he is so valuable and what T4 and ISO 8 recommendations we have for Shang-Chi. And we have some great ones here. If we scroll all the way to the top, one of his best ones is going to be this special here. Not the best, but one of the best is this special. It's going to give more damage to primary and secondary targets, and it's going to fill speed bar on war defense, or it's going to fill his speed bar by 50%, but a war defense going to fill it by 75%. So most of the time, 50%. But the big one is this ultimate. This is why he is such a great character. 3-turn cooldown for this. The T4, what it's going to do is give 125 additional damage to all targets. This is the big one though. Reducing the speed bar of all enemies by an additional 5%. He's already doing that without the T4. Brings it up to a total of 10. And he's a really great character. And as far as ISO H for Shang-Chi, well, 87% of users on MSF.GG have that Raider class equipped on Shang-Chi. So nothing to sneeze at there. Very, very good character. Let's move on with the list. Coming in at number 8 this month, no change from last month, is Emma Frost. And you can get Emma Frost on the Hard Heroes section, chapter 2-3. And she's a great character because of her passive. She has a very, very strong passive, which is going to manipulate the speed bar for both for your enemies, and it's going to permanently reduce the speed bar for your enemies for that entire battle. So because of that, she's a very old character, 2-year-old character. It hasn't had many reworks, but she's still in the meta today, all these years later, because of that strong passive. Anytime a new meta team is introduced, you can take out the weakest character of that team, slot in Emma, and usually win these mirror matches there, unless they have like a Black Order type synergy where you need the entire team. Emma is always going to be a part of this meta for a long time because that strong passive they gave her. So she's right now valuable in Arena. I'm using her in Arena right now. I see her a lot on Arena Defense, War, Cosmic Crucible with just those team replacements. Let's go take a look at her T4 and ISO 8 recommendations. Scrolling down, this is a very strong move and probably her best move, the diamond form. She's going to clear the negative effects from enemy or from self and all allies, and you're going to do it all the negative effects. You're only doing 3 negative effects without this T4, so this is a very important T4, and she's going to give immunity to herself and villain mutant allies. So very, very good move. Only a 3-turn cooldown as well, so makes it very, very valuable. This is also a good T4, not as useful as that basic. It's a 5-turn cooldown or a 4-turn cooldown instead of a 3-turn cooldown. What it's going to do, clearing all positive effects on enemies instead of 3 positive effects on enemies. Mind control 2 enemies or allied characters, and you're giving 15% damage for controlled characters. So very good T4s for her. I would recommend going special first, then ultimate if you want to do all those T4s. And if you want the best ISO 8 class, according to this MSF.GG users, 69% have healer on Emma Frost. So that is the way to go. Let's move on. Let's go with number 7 on this list. Dropping 1 spot from last month, it is our Eternal Gal Cersei, and you could farm Cersei on the Hard Villain or the Hard Villains, chapter 2-9, and she's a very important part of the meta right now in the Mystic raids every single day, which is why she gets a nod, but is valuable in so many modes like Cosmic Crucible, like War. You don't see the Eternals too much in Arena in some of these later game shards, but maybe in some of these earlier shards, she'll still give you some value. But yeah, lots of value, especially Cosmic Crucible and War and very important staple of these Mystic raids here. Let's go see why she is so valuable, see her T4s and ISO 8 recommendations on MSF.gg. And if we see, she has a lot of great moves, and because she was an arena character, I actually did all these T4s. But if you just want to limit the T4s, I think all of these are good. You could not do the basic here. Let's take up with her passive. This is 92% of users on MSF.gg have this passive. You're gonna get more max health for her and Icarus, and more focus for her and Icarus. And as you know, if you've been following this channel for a while, I like passives that affect not just that character, but more than one character, usually an entire team, but I guess you could count the Eternals as an entire team. This Elemental Slam, this is usually what you're opening the turn with, especially if you use Loki in that Eternals combo. You're having Cersei go before Icarus, which gives Icarus a little more chance for that double shot on his ultimate here. She's gonna give 100% damage to all enemies, which is above that T4 baseline. So that's a very strong move as it is. Speed up for 2 turns for her and Icarus, so very, very good one. And you're getting it for 2 turns instead of just 1 turn. And you're getting 2 ability energy for self and Icarus, so very, very strong move. All that ability energy is great. This one is a great move as well. Her special, the stun that she has. You're getting damage for called enemies, and she's going to be calling some enemies for an assist. 10% of this character's health as barrier for her and Icarus, so helps her and Icarus stay alive more. And in Arena, which probably not going to use too much nowadays unless we get some new characters or a rework to these Eternals. In Arena, 10% of this character's max health as barrier for all other allies. So that barrier is nice, but you're probably not going to get it because you're probably not going to use her in Arena. Very good character. And as far as ISO 8 recommendations for Cersei, Skirmisher is 89% of users on MSF.gg with that Skirmisher class attached to her. Let's move on with this list, and coming at number 6 is a new character on this list. Never been on this list before because he's never really had enough value to be on this list. It is Magneto, an important part of the Death Seed team. There's 2 members of the Death Seed team that are farmable right now, and Magneto is the one on this list. Psylocke is going to be on those honorable mentions because she's still an important part of that team. I just think some of these other characters here are a little more important than Psylocke. All right, but what are you going to need Magneto for? Well, he's a Death Seed character, so you're going to use him every day in the mutant sections of raids. So if you're on the right side of those Doom raids, Magneto is going to be very important to you. If you're on the left side and not going for 100%, you may not need to invest in this Death Seed yet, but eventually you will need him. Now he's going to be very great in addition to the raids. In Cosmic Crucible, in War, Death Seed can be a pain if you don't have the right counters. And the way to get Magneto is pretty easy. He's a permanent legendary character that you need mutants for. So there's a lot of great mutants in the game, and hopefully you could easily unlock Magneto. Let's go take a look at his T4s. Well, previous to his rework, I didn't like any of these T4s, but with his rework, this Magnetic Force is basic actually looks very good. Now, this is just gonna affect the raids, so you may not wanna do this T4 if you're not using it in raids, but if he has 3 or more Death Seed allies, gonna prolong negative effects by 1 on each target, and also giving more damage as well. This special, this polarized beam, it's giving more damage to the primary target, but removing all positive effects, which is good, instead of clearing 2 positive effects without the T4. And in Rage, your ability to blocking for 2 turns instead of 1 turn. And that is a very, very good one. And let's not forget this this passive of his, because in the raids, and this is just gonna affect the raids. So if you're not using Death Seed in raids, you could hold off on this T4. But on spawn, if he has 4 more Death Seed allies, which means on a full Death Seed team, it's gonna generate 5 ability energy for self, which means that he could use this ultimate on turn 1 every single time you're in the raids. So very, very important passive, especially if you're using these characters in the raids. And as far as ISO 8 classes for Magneto, well, majority of users have Raider attached to Magneto. And I think that is appropriate for him on a non-Death Seed team. But I think that on a full Death Seed team, the best class for him is Striker, with Beast being the only skirmisher on that team, the rest of the class being Striker. Then we get a lot of assists from Beast, and then you get those triple taps potentially from the rest of the characters. So good character. A little bit of debate on those T4s, but I'm going with Striker with my Magneto because I don't think I'm going to use him too much outside of that Death Seed team. Let's get back to the list. Coming in number 5 this month is Hela. Now, we talked about Arena being a very important game mode, in my opinion, and that is why Hela makes this list, because she is an important part of the Arena meta. There's a lot of Spider Weavers out there, but if Greg is killed, well, that is a little more speed for you, and you could get in front of a lot of these tangled web teams and a lot of these Weaver teams that you might want to get ahead of. So Hela gives you that speed, and she got to rework with Zombie Iron Man, which makes her very, very valuable in war as well. You could farm her right now in 2 nodes, villain 7-6, not the hard villains, a normal villain 7-6, and the hard heroes 2-3. Now, like I said, she's very valuable in war, but great in arena as well. Also very good in Cosmic Crucible. The combination of Hela and Zombie Iron Man work very, very well. And because she is a mystic hero, villain mystic controller, you can use her to unlock Phoenix as well. Let's go take a look at her T4s real quick because she has some good ones. I think her best one is going to be this ultimate Death Knives. Now, this is not something you're using multiple times per game, but or multiple times per battle, but you're going to clear the T4 is going to give you barrier clearing from all enemies, so that is going against certain teams that have a lot of barrier. And if Zombie Iron Man is an ally, you're going to spread all negative effects instead of 4 negative effects. Now, 4 negative effects is a lot. You may not need that for that, but clearing all barrier from allies is great. And let's see this Goddess of Death. When this character drops below 50% max health, if Zombie Iron Man is an ally, summon another undead Asgardian, aka Greg, and apply taunt to all undead Asgardian allies, only trigger once per match. So very, very strong passive, only could do that once per match. I like both of those T4s. And as far as T4, and as far as ISO 8 for her, well, Raider seems to be the best class. 72% of users have that Raider class attached to Hela. Let's move on with the list. We are coming in at the number 4 spot, and number 4 this month is the same character. Abomination did not change from last month. And he is a War Horseman team. He's available in the Cosmic Crucible store, so very easy to get these shards for him. You could get up to 15 shards per day of Abomination. So yeah, do it. He's a horseman. He's going to be very good. He is a part of that Gamma team, that War Horseman team. So obviously going to be dominated in war. They're also very dominant in Cosmic Crucible as well. And if you don't have that Rebirth team, especially on Node 2, that Gamma team works very, very well in the Doom 3 raids. So they have some value on a bunch of different places. And of course, he is a horseman, so he's going to be part of that Apocalypse unlock. Let's go take a look at his kit, see why he is such a big value. And if we scroll down, we see that he has a very strong passive right here. It's going to give him more healing because he's going to heal himself on every turn. He's going to get more drain, not for just himself, but also for his Gamma allies, which makes this awesome, awesome T4. And on turn, he's going to flip 1 random positive effect on all enemies with any positive effects. So I love this passive that he has. He also has a very strong ultimate, this Pulverize. This is a 4-turn cooldown, but always applying stun instead of that 50% chance to apply stun. I think that makes it a must-have T4 in my opinion. And then you're also, yeah, that's it. That's what we want for Abomination. And as far as the ISO 8 classes for Abomination, well, Raider seems to be the best class with all his multiple target attacks. 71% of users on MSF.GG have that Raider class attached to him. Let's move on with this list, and coming in at number 3 is a character that did not move as well, and it is normal OG Green Hulk. You can get shards for him every single day, or maybe not every day, but you could get shards for Hulk by doing achievements. So a new player usually could get Hulk within a few months of them starting playing. So most players should have Hulk and then eventually get him up to 7 stars. He is also, like Abomination, part of that Gamma team. So very, very important for war, Cosmic Crucible. Everywhere Gamma is useful, Hulk is going to be useful. And he is a horseman, so as a part of that Horseman Apocalypse unlock. Let's move on to Red Hulk himself and see why he is such a beast. And as far as T4s, well, the only one I really love for Hulk is this passive. Now, I did all the T4s just because I love Hulk. But what the passive is going to do, fill speed bar by 25% when this character drops below 50% health, so giving him more speed. He's a pretty slow character, but he's getting a lot of speed whenever he drops below 50% max health. When fill speed bar by 5% when an enemy attacks a Gamma or a Wave 1 Avenger, so getting a lot of speed there. And especially when you combine that with this passive here, or excuse me, the special here, that is going to heal him and potentially bring him back above that 50% health mark and trigger that passive again. Very, very good. Triggering all negative effects from self is a good one, especially when you're doing this every few turns with all that speed that he could potentially be getting. And getting that additional damage is also a very good one as well, especially on a taunt. So very, very good special, very, very good passive. And as far as ISO 8 recommendations for Hulk. It depends if you want to go more defensive minded. Almost 74% of users on MSF.gg have that healer ISO 8 class attached to him. Striker is a very good one for offense. I guess it's dependent if you want more offense or survivability from Hulk. Either way is fine. I guess it depends on the game mode though. Coming in at number 2 this month, no change from last month, is Wongers. Yes, and you can start to farm Wong on Hard Heroes 1-3. He is a horseman. He's a part of that Darkhold team, so very, very strong former arena team and can smash most teams in this game. He's going to be a Pestilence horseman. Very good in Cosmic Crucible, very good in War. You don't really see Darkhold too much, a full Darkhold team in arena nowadays. But let's go take a look at his kit, see why he is such a crazy good character. Now, this is a very long cooldown for his ultimate, but this T4 is a very good T4 because he's going to transfer all negative effects from him to the primary target. Without the T4, it's only going to be 2 negative effects. So sometimes Wong gets loaded up with those negative effects. So having this T4 is important. Clearing all negative effects from self, and then you're getting 15% of this character's max health as barrier. So very, very good ultimate there. Let's go take a look at his passive and what this is going to do. Defense up for 2 turns. Yes, I like that. On spawn, he's doing that, so it makes him harder to kill right off the bat. Gaining 15% armor, and Dark Gold allies are getting an additional 30% armor. So as you know, I love these passives that affect the entire team. This one is no exception. So Wong, very, very good character. And as far as ISO 8 classes for Wong, over 90% of users on MSF.gg have that Striker class attached to Wong. Moving on with the list though, coming in at number 1 spot, there's no change from last month because Gambit is still the best free-to-play, aka farmable character in Marvel Strike Force, in my opinion. Now, he's available very easily in the Crucible store, so like Abomination, you could get up to 15 shards per day of Gambit. Very, very good one, especially with the passive and some of the other stuff he does. He is a Famine Horseman, so you can use him to unlock Apocalypse. This Unlimited X-Men, they're a Cosmic Crucible team, so they're going to be dominant in Cosmic Crucible. I don't see him too much in arena. I don't see him too much in the raids either, but this Unlimited X-Men is a war team. So you could use him to unlock Apocalypse. You could also use him because he is a mutant to unlock Magneto. Let's go take a look at his kit and why he is so good. Well, this is a very good move. This is his best move. It does have a long cooldown, so you're probably not using this multiple times per match, but you're getting this T4 is going to give you 130% extra damage to enemies. You're going disrupted for 2 turns to all enemies instead of just 1 turn, and you're flipping 2 positive effects into negative effects instead of just 1. So very, very strong passive, a lot stronger in Crucible, but this is a very, very good passive, ultimate, very good ultimate T4. This passive is very, very good, like I was starting to say. All right, at the end of enemy turn, he's going to attack the most non-summon enemy, ignoring taunt, 180% piercing, and applying heal block. This is why he's such an annoyance when you're facing him, and such a great help when you have him on the team. All right, in Crucible, at the end of any enemy turn, filling speed by 20% for this character. Yeah, so every time they take a turn, Gambit has more of a chance to more opportunity to go. He's going to gain 25% max health, and I love this because he's also going to give the rest of the Unlimited X-Men 25% extra health, and he's getting stealth for 2 turns instead of just 1 turn. So very, very strong character. So that is it with this list, guys, but there are a lot of great characters in Marvel Strike Force that did not make this list that are deserving to be mentioned. So our honorable mentions are going to start with Nobu because, as you know, he's one of the best characters in the game. Even if he dies, he can still revive people. She's like a better version of Minerva, except it's only a 25% chance, but he could be dead. Minerva, if she's dead, she can't revive anybody. So Nobu, awesome. Let's mention the other farmable horseman characters that didn't quite make this list. Scarlet Witch, She-Hulk, Psylocke, Phantom X, all important characters that you're gonna need if you want Apocalypse. Let's mention the rest of the Young Avengers as well. Kate Bishop, Squirrel Girl, very, very good in Cosmic Crucible, very, very good good in war, and you need them for a Scourge as well. The skill raid team, the Secret Avengers, are also very important. We don't have a true skill raid team, so the Secret Avengers are the three-piece team that gives you some flexibility. Captain Sam, Sharon Carter, Maria Hill, all very good characters that are important nowadays. And let's move ahead to the next bio team that we're going to need. I don't think we need Rebirth right now, but they are the team of the future that you're eventually going to need to build. So I do want to mention Captain America, the OG Captain America, and Winter Soldier for that team. And then the War Dogs. They're a very good team. The Wakandans, Black Panther, Shuri, Okoye, very good in War, very good in Cosmic Crucible. You're going to need them for Chaos Theory, so very, very good stuff there. And that is it for this list, guys. Let me know what your list looks like. It may look a little different than mine, but that is what I think is the most important. But you may value these game modes a little differently than I do. Maybe you don't like War, or maybe you love War. Well, some of these War characters are going to have a little more value for you. Maybe you don't need those power cores, and Arena's not as valuable for you, and maybe you're not chasing Apocalypse, so the valuation is going to be a little different. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. If you haven't already checked me out on social media, check me out on social media. Hit that subscribe button for more Marvel Strike Force content, and check out some of my other videos. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys next time. Hulk fist bump. ValleyFlyin out. Have a great one, guys.